Hello, welcome everybody. I'm Doug Anderson. I'm the food and beverage manager here at Seven Summits Lodge. I'm here with our chef Dino. We're going to start our first weekly cooking demonstration that we'll be doing every Wednesday at noon. So today we're preparing the Kurobuta pork chop, which is a staple on our new spring menu that we launched about a month ago. So Dino's going to walk us through how to cook the pork chop, and then lucky for us, we're going to taste it at the end. So enjoy, and we'll be fielding questions as well if anybody has any questions. Take it away, sir.
Hello everyone, welcome to our live cooking class demo. We're doing pork chops today like Doug said, so we're going to go ahead and get our pan started. Probably a little bit of medium heat with a little bit of olive oil here, about a tablespoon. And we're just going to let that get warm. We are going to season our pork. A little bit of kosher salt there. And as always, fresh ground black pepper. So this is the side that we're going to be searing first, and then we're going to season the other side once it's in the pan. Okay, so let's see here, waiting for our pan to get hot. So about a couple of minutes there. While we are waiting for that to get hot, we are going to prepare our apple butter. So we have 3 Granny Smith apples. It's roughly a pound. I think this one is, I want to say 15 ounces, which is almost a pound. We're just going to leave the core, slice through it, leaving the core in the middle. Skin on. And then we're just going to roughly dice it, probably about 1 inch dices here. Okay. It looks like it's going to be a lot of apples, folks. Once it cooks down, you guys will notice that it's really not that much. So we have our apples there. We have our leeks. I already washed it, but sometimes after you slice in it, there's still going to be a little bit of dirt. No, it looks like we did a good job there. So we only use the white part of the leek. The green part you can make for soups or other things, and you can actually throw some in there too if you'd like, but we're just being a little bit too specific right now as far as only using the white parts of the leek. Alright, so we have some slices there. And then, let's see, I think our pan is probably hot enough, so we're going to take our tongs. So I'm always going to use the same tong that I'm going to use to touch the raw pork with, and I have a separate plate to kind of let the tongs sit on that plate. That way it doesn't contaminate any of the area, and I'm not going to be directly touching it. As you can hear, it's making a nice sizzle sound. That's a great sign that your pan is hot enough. And then, like I said, we're going to season the other side. It's kind of in between a pan frying method and a searing method, because technically pan frying, we have to cover about half of the protein in oil while it's frying. And searing is just high heat, way less oil, high heat. So we're kind of in between. And that's what we're doing. We're going to let that sit there for a few minutes and brown while we finish making our apple leek butter. So we have some time here. Now you can either take it off the stem after or before. I like to leave the stems in there. Make sure you wash it first. I do like the stems in there. It adds a little bit more flavor, and we can just take it out later. We have our thyme in there. We have our garlic. I'm just going to go ahead and just crush it and smash it a little bit. Oops. think I did a little bit more extra garlic than in the recipe. I just love garlic. And we have some shallots here. And the shallots, stick slices. In there as well. And then we're gonna have our oil. Just kind of drizzle it a little bit all around. A little heavy on the salt. Okay. A little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Okay, and then there's enough oil in there to kind of oil up the pan. So as we do that, we're just gonna make sure that the bottom of the sheet pan is also getting adequate oil so it doesn't stick. And we're going to throw it in the oven probably about 30 to 45 minutes at 400 degrees convection bake. I probably go 400 and check it after 25 minutes, check it just to see. And then you guys will see the color and doneness that we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in the oven. And voila, it's done already. So we did a little cheat there, just so you guys don't have to sit there and watch for half an hour. Okay. So this is what we're looking for. Like magic, it's done already. It's very hot. But so we have a nice golden caramelization on the apples as well as the leeks and shallots, and then I can go ahead and probably do this with the thyme sprigs. I like to leave the stems in there because the oil will bring out some of the flavor in there. And we're going to pulse it in the food processor anyways. So we're going to do our best to get most of them out, but it's okay if you leave a small piece in there. Okay. Alright, so we're going to take our fingers and just take the leaves off of the stem here. And again, this is very hot, but there's no, we can wait a few minutes if you think it's too hot to handle to put in the food processor. But I'm going to use a towel. So that's how it's going to look. Looks like there's a little. That was Vince. Yeah, he's more popular than I am apparently. There's our apple mixture. It's going to go in the food processor. If you don't have one of these, a blender might work if you just kind of pulse it real fast. I wouldn't use like a juicer or anything though. And if worse comes to worse, you can always just take a knife and chop it up and smash it up a little bit. But so we have our mixture in there. We have our 4 ounces of butter. Before I do that, actually, I'm going to go ahead and let it. Okay. Make sure you plug your equipment in. So it's kind of looking. Smells so good. It's going to look like that a little bit. And then we're going to add our butter. I'm going to go ahead and just probably just dice it in here. That way it doesn't. This has been softening for room temperature for about half an hour. Okay. Look, that mixed up real nice. And I'm going to turn it off real quick just so you guys can hear me. But so again, we have our raw tongs, so we don't want to use out anything else at this point, except for touching the pork chop. So as you guys can see, we have a nice little, in the pan, there's like about a 1/4 inch of browning going on there. So that's kind of what you're looking for. So I think it's been about 4 to 5 minutes on this side. So we're going to go ahead and flip it over. And then we should have a nice looking crust there, like the fat is rendered a little bit with some of that crust. Okay. Now if your pork is kind of caving in and it looks like it's turning into a U shape. It might have been because you cooked it too long on one side. So you want to make sure you don't cook it too long on one side first, because then it'll kind of make this concave shape and it'll be harder to sear it pan fry the other side. So now we have it. Again, it's still like a medium low, nice and gentle frying. We're gonna go back to our butter. So we're gonna do this process to make sure the butter is incorporated properly in there. Also, at this point in time, I know we already seasoned our mixture, but it's always nice to just kind of have a little bit more seasoning because we did introduce unsalted butter. So it's gonna add product in there, and we want to make sure it still stays pretty seasoned. Spatula, and I'm going to kind of just scrape along the outside or the inside on the side here just to make sure we'll be able to incorporate it properly. At this point, I'm going to add our Worcestershire, just a little quarter teaspoon there, and then lemon juice as well. Now, I know it's not on the recipe, but I'm going to throw a little curveball in there, and if you have a zester, you can go ahead and just zest your lemon up. And you're only looking for the yellow parts. You don't want any of the white parts of the lemon to go in there, because then it'll make it bitter. And you really don't need not much. I'd probably say at least half a lemon. So we end up with, it looks like about a half a teaspoon there. And then we're going to use our juice. I have this little container to put the juice in, that way in case there's seeds. And we're probably only going to need about half of that lemon there. And there's a little seed there, so I'm just going to use my finger and hold it down. And again, you only probably want to do about a teaspoon of lemon juice in there. I'm sorry, about a half a teaspoon actually. Okay. It's sounding pretty good. Okay, now we're going to scrape the sides again. We're going to give it a little taste. Make sure it's turned off. We're going to give it a little taste just to see if it needs more lemon or salt and pepper. Just a little bit more salt. So it's going to be like a sweet and savory type butter. Alright. And our pork chops, we're looking for a medium, is going to be about 130 degrees. You can cook it all the way up to 145 is the recommended temperature. But if you really want, you can cook it up to 155 and above. If you're particular about your pork chop and you want to make sure it's well done, you want to be above 145 degrees. But for this demo, our goal is 130. At 130, it'll have a thin pink in the middle. Looks like 127, 129, so I guess we're pretty spot on there. And if you guys kept track of time, it's probably about 5 minutes on each side. You do not want to do the heat too high, because then it'll start burning your pork chop, and then the inside won't be as good. If that does happen, you can throw it in the oven, take it out of the pan, throw it in the oven, and finish cooking it in there. So again, this is our raw tongs. I just want to stress the fact that we don't want to cross-contaminate raw product with anything cooked. So I'm going to set that back down there and let our pork chop kind of rest for a minute or two. We have our butter ready to go. And I do have a new pair of tongs that we're going to use. Okay. Like there. As you guys can see, like using fresh ground black pepper is amazing. You can actually see it, the flavor is way better. And then we have our, so you make quite a little bit of butter. You guys can see it's probably about a cup and a half of butter. You know, you can use this for waffles, pancakes, like a brunch items. It's really just apple butter. Works great on toast. So there's plenty of uses for this butter. We're just gonna do a dollop on there and just let it melt. And then if we have any fresh thyme sprigs, we can just kind of use that for to make it a little pretty. Alright, and there we go. You can do a close-up on that. Good. That's it. So everyone should have recipes as well with this demonstration, and we pretty much followed everything to the T. That's it. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Before we take off here, I noticed that we've got a few people that joined us.